What a disappointment. I am so utterly disappointed with this game's release. It is actually crazy. I sat and literally launched the game the second it released on Steam. The second it released. Went in, first roadblock I hit, the game runs like dog cheeks. The game runs unbelievably bad. Granted, I will hand it to them. The frame rate is very steady. Whatever frame rate you have, it will stay there. But the frame rate itself is not good. It is super bad. I had to turn my graphics to the absolute bare minimum that they would go to, and I had to turn on DLSS Ultra Performance. Holy shit. When I turned on the Ultra Performance, the game looked like fucking ass. It all blended together. And there was this weird white fog haze on everything in a 30-meter radius in a circle around me. It was always like a wall of fog because the rendering I know it's similar to the rendering that they use in the newer COD games. Like, well, no. MW2, MW3, and MW 2019, I know for sure the rendering in this game is similar to those because it has the same weird black circle shadows, and it's very weird. The rendering in this game is not good. The rendering that they use, the rendering software, whatever they use, is so weird and terrible. It's rendered so fucking awful. The why they coded and made the game like this is like actually beyond me. It is so bad. And I'm going to be all over the place, but I'm moving on to the music. The soundtrack for this game, I don't like it. Ever since we lost Mick Gordon, the soundtrack has been not good. It has not been good. Andrew Holsha and David Levy, they did a decent job. I think they did a good job on the DLCs, but whoever did the soundtrack for this game, it's disappointing because it blends in to everything that's happening and you can barely hear it in the background in some areas. And sometimes the music just doesn't play. You'll be fighting demons and music just won't play. It's not like a few demons, like a small amount, like whole arenas sometimes, and like the first actual boss fight, no music. No music the entire fight. There was no music the entirety of the first boss fight, and it was super boring. It was like parrying the same two attacks and circle strafing. That's like all the boss fight was. The combat in this game feels extremely button mashy. Like it kind of feels at some points it kind of feels like you're just pressing buttons. Like it doesn't feel like there's a flow to it. It feels like you're just slamming your head against the keyboard at some points. The combo system, it's simultaneously the easiest and most complicated shit to understand ever. I physically can't understand it because sometimes it just won't work. And the no glory kills. Oh, Jesus Christ. The no glory kills I thought was not going to be a problem. It is a serious problem. The no glory kills ruins the flow of the game, I think, because when you do a finisher in this game, how it is in this game, it takes probably the same amount of time from start to finish, when in finish being when you're able to turn and shoot another demon. From start to finish takes the same amount of time as a glory kill animation with the fast glory kill ruin would in Eternal. It takes the exact same amount of time and you get less immersion. And when you do it, it's super inconsistent and you'll get hit through it sometimes and you'll take damage coming out of it. There's no flow to it. They thought there was going to be a lot of flow and there's not that much flow in it. You'll do it and there'll be another enemy next to you that's also in that finisher state, and they will either be out of that finisher state while you do the one on the other demon when you're done, or you just can't get to that demon because the same button to do the finisher is the same button to do the combo melee. And both of those actions lock onto the demon. It locks onto them. It's not like Eternal, where when you do a blood punch or a punch in general, it doesn't lunge you towards the enemy. So the glory kill animation, being its own separate stuck animation, was perfectly fine. But this game, sometimes it doesn't lock onto the right demon, and you just can't get it and you'll die. For the ray tracing engine to be what it is and how they said, oh, it helps with hit registration and detection and blah, 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 blah. It really doesn't. It kind of sucks worse than Eternal did. They have this whole engine doing all this stuff for them, and it did it worse than an actual human being could have done it. An actual developer or employee at Bethesda could have done this better. At id Software could have done it better than the engine did. So it is 100% pure laziness why they got a whole engine to do it for them. There's no other reason. And with the amount of cards that were barred from playing this game, there's such a small demographic of people who can play this game. I fully expected this game to be perfectly optimized when it came out. There was no excuse on the planet for it not to be perfectly made when it comes out. Because there's such a small demographic of people you have to actually optimize for. You have to optimize for consoles, which is pretty much impossible to fuck up. And then you have to optimize for this small amount of people on PC because you barred the game from so many people because of this stupid fucking ray tracing engine. So there should be no excuse for my game not to run almost perfectly, right? And they were able to optimize this game for God knows how many different combinations of people for Eternal in 2016, but not this game, where you also had an engine that does shit for you. You couldn't do it for this game, though. That is beyond me, how they weren't able to do it. The honestly, most of the animation lock actions in this game are kind of inconsistent and will not lock on to the right thing sometimes. And the no quick swapping in this game hurts this game's combat. Because there's like 3 different things you need to tackle in an arena, and you need to be able to switch your gun fast enough to tackle it without eating shit in the process. But if the arenas were a lot bigger and the enemies were a lot more spread out, granted, there are arenas later in the game where they're more spread out, but the first third of the game, the arenas are just too small and too crowded. It's like demons are kind of just thrown in there. There's no strategic placement of the demons in the game development. It's kind of like they just shook Yahtzee the fucking demons everywhere. They didn't think about where they're putting them in some areas. So you can't switch fast enough to the gun to deal with the other problem without getting hit by something else stupid. I don't have any personal footage because I could barely stream this game on Discord without it fucking with the performance. And recording it, I was just too focused and too pissed off to even record it. I didn't want to take my time and record that game and run up my hours on the game to the point where I couldn't refund it. I'm already at 2 hours, like I'm at the limit. And if I can't get my money back, I'm going to kind of be pissed off, but it's fine. It's whatever. I'll probably trooper through it and finish the game anyways, just to say that I did and just to get my money's worth. But I'm not going to buy the DLC for this game. I refuse. Cuz the base game is already shitty enough. It's extremely disappointing, this game. You need such a higher end card to run this game that it's not even worth it. I would say personally, the lowest card you would need to run this game at an acceptable frame rate, 2, an acceptable graphic resolution would be a 4070. That is probably the bare minimum you would need. Because what I said in the last video, Hugo Morton had his 4070 and on Ultra and everything it ran on 140. Good. That's what you need. That is the bare minimum that you need. Because anything lower is not going to get you the frame rate at a high enough graphic setting to be worth it. You can get the frame rate at the bare minimum graphics, but it's going to affect your gameplay because all the demons blend into fucking everything. They're all gray colored, brown colored, and that's what 90% of the arenas look like in this game is brown and gray. And it's all muddy and they all blend into the fucking floor and the wall and you can't see what's coming at you. All you see is like red fireballs and green fireballs. That's all you can see. But I don't really have much more to say. That's kind of all I had to say. I wouldn't recommend that you buy this game on PC unless you have a higher end card. But if you buy it with a lower end card and you're happy with having shitty graphics and shitty FPS, be my guest, more power to you. And if you enjoy playing the game like that, good for you, have fun. Personally, I don't like it when my game runs at fucking 60 FPS and looks like dog shit. And I don't like it when my game has to be set to the lowest possible graphic setting and rendering system just for it to run properly. There was a lot of people who had crashing issues when this game launched. Like Critical had really bad crashing issues. And it was mostly because of this new dog shit GeForce driver. Because for some reason GeForce can't get their shit right. Thank Christ I didn't have these fucking crashing problems. My game launched perfectly and ran fine. But a lot of people had that crash issue, and that's like the first time a Doom game has had that kind of launch issue. A lot of most of the other Doom games like 2016 Eternal whatever never had these on launch problems. They took so much time to make this game and they had oh my god, they had so many resources to build this game on. And you had such a shitty launch. Like, you had a really bad launch state. Why? You had shit that does stuff for you, and you had a hell of a lot of employees, a hell of a lot of time. I mean, what's the point? You fuck it up that bad, but you had all these resources to make this game perfect and amazing. There was no excuse for this game to not run perfectly. With such a low demographic of people who are able to play this game on PC, that's less optimization you have to do. There's no excuse for this game not to run perfectly for PC. No excuse. You were able to make it run perfectly for Eternal on launch with that amount, like a bajillion different combinations of system parts and whatever. But you couldn't do it for this game. I don't get it. But that's my personal thoughts on the game right now. I wouldn't recommend this game to fucking anybody. I might recommend it to somebody who has a supercomputer, but other than that, I wouldn't recommend any of my friends, anybody I know play this game. This game is not good. I don't like it. I wouldn't recommend it. But to each their own. If you have fun, good for you, enjoy it. That's all I have to say about this shit. Maybe I'll make another video on it. Who knows? But if they don't fix this game, if they don't fix the graphics and the rendering and the FPS problems, this, mark my words, this will be the death of the Doom series. Because it's going to advance to such a... They're going to lose an entire platform of players. Because most people on that platform can't run the game. On consoles, it's fine, they'll keep players. But on PC, they're going to lose PC support entirely. Because I'd imagine if they don't fix the problem with the ray tracing in this game, the next Doom game is going to be on id Tech 8 still or id Tech 9, and why would they switch from forced ray tracing when they already have it? Why would they stop doing that? They're going to keep doing it, and I'm not going to be able to play the next Doom game. I'm not gonna go upgrade my PC for one game series. I don't think they understand that. The ray tracing engines like the Indiana Jones game and whatever else is such a small amount of games. It's like 4 games that have done this that I can even name, like notable games that have done this. It's not common enough. This ray tracing is not common enough in games to be forcing it on people. Most people don't have the system to run ray tracing, so you can't just force it on someone. It isn't common enough in the gaming industry yet for it to be forced. In the future, where most every card's going to be able to run it, then it's going to be a commonplace thing. But it's so rare now that why would you force it? We have to slowly acclimate to it and slowly implement it when the time comes. I say when the 40 series becomes the present card that is like a quote lower end card, then is the right time. But right now, the fact that the late 30 series is being considered low power and like old, that is a problem. The late 30 series should not be considered old in the slightest. The late 20 series isn't that old. It shouldn't be considered old either. The early 20 series is where it starts getting old. The 2060 Super and the 2070 Super, that stuff, that's not old. The 2060 Super can still run stuff really well. But considering some of this stuff to be old, I've heard people call the fucking 40 series old. I've heard people call that shit old because they have the 5090 and all this other shit. That's fucking ridiculous, right? But that's my opinion. I've said my piece. Take with that what you will. This is my opinion, so don't tweak in the comments about it. Please. Oh, he's just bad at the game. He's just bad at the game. Okay, I probably am bad at the game, whatever. But a lot of my complaints are valid. They are valid complaints that should be given attention. But they probably won't. So fucking whatever.